Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Megan, and I'm back with a library book haul prediction revealed video in which it feels like it's been 300 years since I filmed a video because I have been doing life. My voice is still not even back to normal, but we gotta get on with the makings of these videos because I gotta go to the library today because I got other books that need to be picked up. So we gotta talk about the books that I already read. So let's jump into it and talk about the books that I read the last 6 weeks. So the first book I read was The Gatekeepers by Jen Lancaster. So just to start off, I didn't realize how heavy these books were going to be when I picked them up because we started heavy. So this book, I didn't realize how heavy it was going to be. So I rated it 4 stars. I actually thought I was going to rate it 3 stars for most of the book, and I almost thought that I wasn't going to finish it either because there was just so much going on that I was like, I don't know if I can go on. Like this deals with suicide, teen suicide, and the repercussions of it. So this is based in this small town where they're known for sending all of their kids to Ivy League schools, and they have to be perfect in every single way, no matter what, and that puts a lot of pressure on these kids, and that's what's leading them to commit suicide. And they're all doing it the same way. They're all jumping in front of this train. You'd think that the town would get rid of the train, or like make it go somewhere else or something. If like that's like they're just like not thinking about it. They're just like, oh, like the adults in this world are just crazy. Like they don't care that their kids are dying. I was like, this is what? And it's like the teenagers that have to come together to like, because as soon as one of our main character, well, he's not really a main character, but he had a point of view. When he goes, like that's the pivotal moment in the book where they're like, something has to change, and that's when they become the gatekeepers of themselves. I was like, oh, all right, that's what we're gatekeeping. But I think this had a lot of like eye-opening, like don't treat your children this way kind of thing. Like this is the repercussions of what happens when you try to push especially young kids so far. They're only 17. They don't know what they want to do for the rest of their lives. Like the fact that they want to take a gap year shouldn't be the end all be all of their lives for the rest of their lives. Like it blows my mind. It blows my mind. So, I thought this was a really important read. It was a good read. The characters were kind of like because I mean they were teenagers and some of them were a bit uppity in their viewpoints, but there were some gems. For some reason the author made these characters all say the same line. Like they were like, oh, the bitch about it all. I'm like, why are all these characters saying that exact same line? That was really annoying to me and it stood out a lot. But yeah, so I rated this 4 stars. The next book I read was Under the Udala Trees by Chinelo Parenta. This pretty picture, this pretty cover. This was also hard-hitting too. So I rated this 4 stars. Again, I had the same mentality with this one where I was like, I didn't know if I was going to finish it. I thought I might have rated it 3 stars because the beginning really took a lot of effort to get into because it wasn't told in a chronological order. It was like, this happened, but this also happened before that happened. So you have to kind of follow the trail before it gets to like, I think it's like part 3 or 4 of this story. And then things are told in chronological order and you can follow along with it. But yeah, the beginning was a bit hard to get through. But this dealt with the LGBTQ living in Africa, Nigeria. I believe this one takes place in Nigeria, not Ghana. Yes, this one is Nigeria. So it takes place in a small town in Nigeria where our main character, all she wants to do is just be with the person she loves, and it's like, and even to this day, like there's an author's note. I mean, this came out in 2017, I think 2015. This book came out in 2015. So the author's note is a bit dated, but I mean, even to this day, it's still like you still find yourself in jail for being gay, and it just, also, these things blow my mind because I'm like, but why? It has nothing to do with anybody but that person. So it's like, I still don't get it. But this is her story of her trying to find a way to be with the people that she loves. It's not easy. It's like there are terrible moments. Like she even tries to marry a man and have kids with him and live a quote unquote normal life. But in the end, she knows she can't do it. So it's just there's a lot of hope for like the future in this, and I really hope that even still, like I hope for the future, even now, that things can get better. But this ended up with like a really like nice messaging, and I mean, not everybody's story is gonna end this way. This was more like a voice. This gave voice to people who don't have a voice, and it was just really, I like the way that it ended up and it came together. So this is a very important read as well because it's also eye-opening, because especially if you don't know anything about being queer in another country, this is definitely something that'll open those eyes. So I highly recommend this one actually. The next book I read was Whisper of the Tide by Sarah Tolscher. Okay, I rated this 3 stars, but this was definitely a lot lighter than the last 2 stories that I read. Whew! So this is the second book in this duology. The first book was called Song of the Current. I also rated that 3 stars. This one had a lot to do with romance. Like it really brought this romance in, where it was like our main character had to figure out what she wanted to do. Like she has this calling, the sea calls her, and it's like, you have this mission. Like this is like, I love the magic, and I really wish we had gotten more world building and understanding of this world and how it works, and just like, cause like her and her family have this connection to the lake, but because I guess she's a little different, the ocean and the sea calls her, and so the sea god is like her fairy godmother, if you will, and so she wants to be with this guy, but this guy isn't meant for her because he has to marry someone in order to have his title of the throne. You know how it goes. And the sea queen is like, see, you can't be with him, and she tries to like kill her and everything. But through perseverance, I guess, like throughout the book, she's battling between, do I be with him or do I go with my quest? Like it's like and I mean, you go through that the entirety of the book. And then at the end, you know, we get the happily ever after. But I mean, I enjoyed going on the little rides and everything. I mean, I could have done less with like the whole romance and the whole like, oh, should I be with him? Oh, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I could have done less with that, and I really wish we gotten more of the world. But I mean, for what it's worth, it was still a really good and very entertaining read. I enjoyed it. Excuse me. Like I say, 3 stars. I mean, I don't know if I'd recommend, I mean, I want to say yes, I'd recommend this duology because it's cool, because it's like pirates and like you get all this like this betrayal and this deception, and you get all these really cool things, but the world is just not 100% there. That's all I have to say. So if you really are interested in like pirates and piracy and that kind of stuff, I mean, this is a cool maybe intro to it. That's it. Alright, now we're down to my last library book, and I don't know how I'm going to start with this, but here we go. First, let's start with the title of the book. It is called All the Seas of the World. There are a lot of words in this title, by Guy Gavriel Kay. Apparently he's like a Canadian treasure. I've never heard of this guy until Canada Reads put him on the list this year. This was longlisted for Canada Reads 2023. So, I didn't realize this before reading this. So normally Canada Reads will put, if it's a series, it'll put a book that you can read as a standalone. And people say you can read his books as a standalone, but he writes these big fantasy novels set in this one universe, and then like they all come together in like, so you can read them alone, but they're all connected somehow, some way. I didn't know that going in. So I feel like that really took away from the experience for me because I felt very confused for a lot of the book. I didn't know the character, like who connected to what, to where, to huh, and I never felt invested enough in the characters. I wanted to. There were moments where I was like, "Ooh, I'm being sunk into this plot," and then I'd have to put the book down. Then I'd come back and I would forget, and I would not feel connected again. And it's just a shame because I hear that he's like I say, he's a Canadian treasure. Um, I just wish I liked him more. So I rated it 3 stars. The writing is really good. Like I can see that he's very talented in writing, and the fantasy of it all is really nice. And he has a very big world. Like his world building is huge, and I can see that from this because I'm sure if I was to read the other books, there's 2 books I think before this one, I feel like I might have gotten more out of it. I just didn't feel it with this one. I don't even know, like, it's a book about characters set at sea and they're all going after a goal, and that's as much as I can tell you because honestly, I struggled through this. It's 500 pages and I struggled, but I made it through. I still have to write an actual, like, written review for this, and I'm struggling to give you a verbal review of this. So, I wish I could tell you guys to read. I mean, I would not advise a 500. I mean, it's a fantasy novel, so obviously it's going to be big and it's going to be chunky. Would I recommend it? Maybe, if you like fantasy and if you like being at sea. There are some really cool, like, things that happen throughout, but for the most part, I just, like I say, did not feel connected to the characters, did not feel connected to the plot. This book I read to read words, which makes it sound sad. But I did rate it 3 stars because it was not worth a 2-star read, because the writing was there, it was good, and I think I need to read another one of his books in order to appreciate this better. So that's my 2 cents. That's where I'm going to leave it for now. Maybe if I have more, but I don't think I'm going to be able to give you more. So those were my last 4 library books. I mean, we had some heavy, and we had some light, and it was a good mixture, I think. So those were my last 4 library books. If you've read any of these books, put a comment in the comments below. That is all I have for you guys today. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe, a do your thing, and I will see you all in my next video, which will probably be very shortly because I am, like I say, going to the library today. So thanks and bye guys!